As most of us in late 2021 are aware, the music industry can be pretty fickle, with the slightest change in attitude turning an artist that was hot one day into a dud the next. One band found this out the hard way in the mid-1990s after the debut of an adult-oriented cartoon nearly stopped their momentum dead in its tracks. I'm Think So Joe, this is Things You Might Not Know, and today, Winger sucks. Best known for their radio hits Headed for a Heartbreak and 17, the mid-tier hair metal band Winger was originally formed by brothers Kip, Nate, and Paul Winger, along with their friend Peter Fletcher. Although the band's official self-titled debut album was released in August 1988, the first recorded music the band released under the Winger name was way back in 1980. Their song Wizard of the Key appeared on the KAZY Thunder on the Mountain compilation, which was recorded live at the Denver, Colorado Rainbow Music Mall. Not long after this, Peter Fletcher would depart from Winger and eventually join the band Pygmy Love Circus, who were part of the notorious underground LA rock scene. By 1987, Winger would solidify their classic lineup, which consisted of Reb Beach, Rod Morgenstein, Paul Taylor, and the last Winger brother left standing, Kip. As mentioned before, Winger's debut album would hit record stores in the late summer of 1988, a time when glam and hair metal was beginning to reach its apex of popularity. Winger definitely benefited from the current shift in what was considered popular in rock music at the time, with their eponymous debut selling some pretty respectable numbers, hitting platinum status in the US and gold in Japan and Canada. The album spent an impressive 63 weeks on the Billboard 200, peaking at number 21 in February 1989. The accolades didn't stop there either, as Winger was nominated for the Best New Heavy Metal Band Award at the 1990 American Music Awards. Winger wasted no time in attempting to capitalize on all of this success by jumping into the studio and recording their sophomore album, In the Heart of the Young, which was released in June 1990. With the songs Can't Get Enough and Easy Come, Easy Go becoming certified hits, Winger's second album outsold their previous effort, with the new outing going 1.5 times platinum in the US and hitting gold internationally once again. Despite what seemed to be a continuing upward trajectory, the party would come to a crashing halt for Winger as they were working on their third album. Before I get too deep in, do you have a great idea for a future episode of Things You Might Not Know? Be sure to drop that in the comments. In the early 1990s, there were multiple events that changed not only the course of rock and roll, but also the music industry as a whole. The most significant of these was the cataclysmic success of Nirvana's second album, Nevermind, which almost single-handedly put glam and hair metal on life support. One of the other things that came along, which had a pretty surprising influence on what was and was not considered cool in modern rock, was the animated TV show Beavis and Butt-head. Debuting as a series of shorts in 1992, and eventually going on to be a regularly aired TV show on MTV in 1993, Beavis and Butt-head were about two teenagers who were, for lack of a better phrase, loser metalhead stoners. Being that the cartoon was heavily built around the music of the time, a plot that MTV has seemed to have lost in the time since, the titular characters became the unexpected tastemakers of rock, punk, and heavy metal in the 90s. The animated show's segments, where the animated duo reviewed music videos and bands, both past and present, became the stuff of legend and was responsible for the explosion in the careers of bands such as White Zombie and Primus. Beavis and Butt-head included an expansive cast of characters, some of which would go on to be pretty popular in their own right. The best example of this is the teenage classmate Daria, who would go on to have her own show a couple of years later. Another early-on character named Stuart was presented as a wimpy nerd who, unfortunately for him, looked up to Beavis and Butt-head. Stuart was usually drawn wearing a Winger t-shirt in an attempt to emulate the pair, who were almost always depicted wearing an AC/DC and Metallica shirt. As a way of making fun of Stuart, both Beavis and Butt-head would regularly mock him for his choice of band, making the statement, "Winger sucks," a kind of catchphrase. Eventually, Kip Winger himself would become privy to Beavis and Butt-head's mockery of his band. The show's creator, Mike Judge, was told at the time by network executives at MTV that Kip Winger was not pleased with his band being scoffed at, and had made the demand that they stop making fun of his band on the show. This led to Judge persisting to make fun of Winger as a running joke, something that shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone familiar with Mike Judge's body of work. With fans of Beavis and Butt-head now repeating the line, "Winger sucks," complete with an imitation of Butt-head anytime the band's name is invoked in real life, the writing was officially on the wall. It wasn't long before this directly impacted Winger's album sales, as the numbers for their 1993 album Pull were pretty dismal, at least when compared to the previous two albums. Winger would break up in 1994 in the wake of their now rapidly waning popularity and not-so-great album sales. It was later revealed during a chance meeting between Mike Judge and Kip Winger that the latter had not actually made demands to MTV to stop making fun of his band. I wouldn't get too upset on Winger's behalf though, as the individual members of the band were able to continue their careers beyond this time. Kip himself would start a solo career, Reb Beach has played with the likes of Alice Cooper and Whitesnake, and the rest picked up careers as session musicians. Winger successfully reunited in 2001, and after some lineup rearrangements, has been going strong since, with a new album expected to be released sometime in 2022. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Things You Might Not Know. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I post a new video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can see a playlist of Things You Might Not Know videos over here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time!